This is the E28 Omni robot vacuum from eufy. And if you're as curious about smart cleaning tech as I am, this is one of those products that immediately grabs your attention just by sitting in your living room. I remember when I first unboxed it, the look alone gave me a sense that this wasn't an average robot vacuum. It's got this matte black finish with some futuristic design language going on. And when you put the Omni station next to it, everything just feels pretty high-end for a household cleaner. Let's talk about how it actually looks and feels before I get into how it cleans. The E28 robot itself is fairly compact, but it feels solid when you carry it around, not flimsy or cheap at all. I noticed the wheels are slightly bigger than some other bots I used, which helps with moving across floor transitions and carpets. On top, there are clear touch controls, and the lid opens up so you can access the dust compartment directly. The Omni station is where a lot of the magic happens. It's bigger than a simple charging dock, but it's neat enough to leave out in plain sight. I like that eufy uses muted colors and rounded corners. It doesn't scream for attention, but if a friend visits, they'll definitely ask what it is. Another little detail. You get an indicator light to show what the robot is doing, and you can hear its system running quietly in the background when it's washing mop pads or drying itself after a cleaning session. From my experience using the E28 Omni, I realized this is not just a RoboVac, but a multitasker. I was curious about some of those features eufy talks about, like the HydroJet system and portable deep cleaner. I have 2 cats in my apartment, and honestly, robotics vacuums can be super hit or miss when it comes to both pet hair and sticky messes. For me, setting up the E28 was straightforward through their app. Note, it only connects to 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi, not 5G, which you'll want to keep in mind if you're setting up for the first time. Once the robot mapped out my place, which was surprisingly fast, about 3 minutes for a 700 square foot apartment, I jumped right into spot tests. One of the things that make the E28 stand out, in my opinion, is this real-time mop cleaning system. I tested it on peanut butter and jam right in my kitchen, because that's the nightmare scenario for mops and vacuums, right? Usually I'd do a test with coffee stains, but I figured, why not try something worse? The robot recognized the mess almost instantly with its cameras and sensors. When it rolled over the stain, you could actually see it adjusting, going back and forth along the sticky areas until the stain pretty much disappeared. No swirling mess or smearing, just clean tiles left behind. It has a little scraper that keeps cleaning the mop as it works, and by the time I checked on it, the mop didn't look nearly as dirty as I expected. The station washed and dried the mop pads automatically, which meant I could go back to watching TV and let the robot do its thing. The suction is impressively strong. eufy rates it at 20,000 PA, and honestly, it ate up all the cat hair and crumbs in one go. The vacuum wasn't fazed by my lower pile living room rug or even the edge of a thicker doormat. The portable spot cleaner is another key feature that I ended up using more than I thought. If you're new to RoboVacs or never had a spot cleaner before, what that means is you can pop out a little handheld cleaner from the station and use it manually on your couch, stairs, or wherever a liquid or food stain shows up. I have a habit of eating on my couch during late-night shows, and trust me, this is clutch when there's a sudden spill on the cushions. For navigation, I was genuinely impressed by the number of obstacles the E28 can recognize. There have been a lot of claims from different brands about AI obstacle avoidance, but this one has RGB cameras and sensors that detected my cats, stray socks, and even a phone charging cable. No mess of tangled brushes or sucked-up cords, which I appreciated. Mapping is quick and surprisingly accurate. It took maybe 3 minutes to create a 3D map of my place. The vacuum also adjusts cleaning paths depending on carpet, tile, or wood, so I got full coverage without needing to babysit the robot. Another highlight is maintenance, or actually, the lack of it. The E28 has an auto-empty feature using a 3-liter dust bag inside the station. From my experience, I only needed to swap this out around every 2 months. I use the robot almost daily. If you're like me and hate dumping little dustbins, this is amazing. The base also washes and dries the mop automatically, so I never have mop stink or mold issues. The drying air temperature, by the way, is warm but not too hot, so it won't damage the pads. On the app, things are pretty user-friendly. You can schedule cleanse, tell it to avoid no-go zones, which is great if you have a pet corner you don't want disturbed, and there are reports after each cleaning that show where it found mess or stains. I enjoyed playing around with features like Boostique, which automatically ramps up suction when it senses carpet, and Smart Track Cleaning, where the robot follows you if you want to direct it to a specific messy spot. But let's get to the points that matter the most for me. What I like and what bugs me about this robot. The real-time mop cleaning, the genuinely strong suction, and the portable spot cleaner are all standouts. I'm honestly surprised how much less time I spend manually cleaning my floors and furniture. For anybody with pets or small kids, or if you just hate dragging out a regular vacuum, this is a huge convenience. The way the mop gets washed, dried, and maintained without my help really sells the E28. I barely get my hands dirty anymore, and my apartment just stays cleaner with less effort. On the flip side, there are a few things that I think you should know. The size of the Omni station means you need to plan for some dedicated space, especially if you live in a smaller apartment or have limited corners for extra gadgets. Also, only supporting 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi could be a bit annoying if your home network is mostly 5 GHz. Luckily, setting up a dual-band system solved it for me, but it's something that might confuse anyone not as comfortable with home networking. The robot's obstacle avoidance is really impressive, but not always perfect. Sometimes, if there's a really small object, it might miss it, so I still do a quick glance around before starting a session. The upfront cost is definitely higher than standard vacuums or simpler robots, but from my experience, you get what you pay for, thanks to all the automation and tech inside. In conclusion, I'd recommend this for anyone who wants a set-it-and-forget-it experience for both vacuuming and mopping, especially if you deal with frequent pet messes or want something that requires minimal manual upkeep. The E28 Omni robot vacuum and mop combo is, in my opinion, one of the most hassle-free and effective smart cleaning solutions for modern homes. The convenience and cleaning power are worth the space, and the small learning curve with the app or Wi-Fi is easy to manage if you're familiar with smart home devices. I will post full information about the E28 Omni robot vacuum in the comments section. See you in the following videos.